So this is a refresher regarding the rhetorical analysis essay on the AP language exam, and I'm going to go through exactly what you should be thinking about and what your resources are as we start. I know this sounds hokey or like, not important, but we need to think about our confidence levels going into the exam. I know many people expressed anxiety or feeling overwhelmed or like they were not prepared. And so 50% or even more of us going into the exam, like an athlete going onto the field for a football game or basketball game or softball game, we need to be at our best, but we also need to think at our best levels. So we need to be confident, and I want you to be saying these affirmations out loud to yourself when you wake up, during the day, when you go to bed. I would put an affirmation that you really value, either from this list or from your own list, regarding your capabilities and regarding your confidence and your knowledge and your intellect. And it's important to believe that you can and know that you can. And that often comes from telling us that we can. So it's what we tell ourselves. And I always believe that there are two options. The two statements are, I can do it and I can't do it. And it's a choice for which one you want to believe about yourself. And so let's make that positive affirmation a possibility for us every day. These are your sources. They're on this slide deck, and I will share the slide deck with you, but I have the cheat sheet here, which looks like this. This is everything you need to know divided by the part of the essay. I give you a thesis statement. We went over this a few months ago, the WVTTF, but this is what it looks like written out. We have our claims, which are also the topic sentences, same thing. And I give you a sample claim written out, and I suggest that you find your RDs first, your rhetorical devices, and then after that you can make your thesis and then make your claims. And after that, we have our body paragraphs, the chunk of your essay, the analysis, the connection to universal ideas. So it is crucial that not only your thesis, but your topic sentences or your claims contain a universal idea and a rhetorical device together. So you're actually going into the part of the essay or the speech. When you find the rhetorical device, you need to also connect it to a universal idea that is in that part of the speech, and make a case for the writer connecting or using that rhetorical device specifically to convey that universal idea. And that's going to get you to the strong analysis. These are also notes for stronger analysis. Please read over these and have these handy when you're taking your exam. It is open note. And so the body paragraphs contain three separate components: the what connects the rhetorical device to the message from the thesis, to the universal idea; the how, specific words. Here's where you quote, or you can open with part of a quote. And we're thinking about how or why it's used. And connection to tone is an easy trick for analysis. So how does that rhetorical device contribute to the overall tone of that section, the overall tone of the speech or essay? And then finally, we have the so what, which is the impact on the audience. How does it create feeling in the audience? How does it push the audience to want to enact with what the writer is saying? I give you a paragraph overview with the components highlighted. I provide the rhetorical flow stems, and so you should be thinking about which of these you want. You should have them in your mind going in, even though it's an open note test. You're not going to have that time to constantly look back and read over the notes. So please read over these notes between now and May 26th. You have your stems continued. I give you some strong verbs or power verbs. Have like 3 that you have in your mind that you're ready to use. So look at this list and choose 3. I would even make sticky notes or note cards, and I would put up like, here are the verbs I'm going to use. Here's the stems I'm going to use so that you have them handy. I would put up the thesis construction, or you can, when I mail these to you, you can cut these out, right? They're not going to be very big though. Or the other strategy is to have print these out, or I will mail them to you, but also you can have your second computer from Campus Without Walls, so you could have the two going at once. Just make sure you have that solid internet connection. Please read over this quotation integration, just so you know that we're embedding the quote, integrating the quote seamlessly into your writing. And this shows you how to do that. You're centering the quote, giving it the context with the who's speaking, the what is the situation, what's the connection to the universal idea. And here's an example. Throughout her speech, writer utilizes RD with phrases that begin with quote, which exaggerate, because I'm telling you what an analogy does, right? It's a stretched out metaphor or simile. It exaggerates and then you're telling me what compared to the message, the universal idea. Women's efforts, estranged world, right? The futility, how things cannot be accomplished so easily and often are expected to fail. All right. Then we move into exactly what the introduction is. It's 2 sentences, 3 sentences. It's don't spend your time with the intro. It all is in the thesis statement, which is why that's 1 point out of the total 6. So it's really crucial that you nail that thesis statement. Don't spend time again on the introduction. Spend time on the actual content, the body paragraphs. I do give you reading strategies. I would pay attention to these. Obviously, I wouldn't look at these during the exam. This is information for you to have in practice before the exam. These are some tone words. Very important for you to have a connection to tone in your analysis for each RD, for each body paragraph. Remember, an essay, 5 paragraphs. How do you get your 3 paragraphs? RD1, connected to universal idea, connected to thesis, the message in thesis. RD2, universal idea, message to thesis. Paragraph 3, RD3, universal idea, connection to thesis. 3 body paragraphs, RD1, body 1, RD2, body 2, RD3, body 3. Memorize it. All right, so I ask you to choose 3 rhetorical devices that you are going to know really well. You're going to choose them now, and from now until the exam, in every practice we do, you're going to look for those 3 rhetorical devices. So I suggest parallel structure or parallelism, juxtaposition. I like a syndeton. Polysyndeton is the opposite, but they both give you a ton of analysis. I like those because look at this. We have the why, right? Look at all these things that juxtaposition does, right, in the speech, reasons that a writer would choose it. I like this for the comparison, contrast, a balance, maybe a contradiction, also contributes to flow and attention. So these are just more than repetition, right? I would not go in with one of your 3 being repetition because it won't give you the extended analysis as these do. Obviously, if you see a rhetorical question in the speech, use it. That's a body paragraph, right? You're thinking, why would a writer ask that question? What is the meaning of that? How does that relate to the universal idea in that section and then the message? And analogy is another good one to stretch out your analysis because it's an exaggerated comparison. So you're trying to think of why would an author use that instead of, just a simile, just a metaphor? Why would they take a metaphor and draw this picture around it to create this imagery? Okay, having said that, if you go into the exam and you're really overwhelmed and you're like, I can't even look at this cheat sheet during the exam, feel free to use RD1 descriptive writing. There's descriptive writing in every single thing you will read. You would then connect it to universal idea in that section and then message in the entire speech or essay, then go into repetition. Again, every single thing that's written has repetition. And then, of course, tone. Every single piece has tone. Feel free to use those three. And then you're asking yourself, for any RD, you're asking yourself these questions. And that is your body paragraph. The answers to those questions, the responses to those questions, those are your body paragraph. So yes, know those three, but then feel free to go in and choose whichever you know of those three at the bottom. So we went over the cheat sheet. We have this huge slide deck on rhetorical devices. What's nice about this is that I do link all the rhetorical devices, hyperlinks, so you can jump on in if you want to just go to a specific one. We have our 2 videos on rhetorical devices. I suggest that you go to the 3, right, that you want to focus on, find them in the video, and re-listen to that and digest the how and the why that the speaker is, or the writer is, choosing those particular rhetorical devices. All right, we also have, that's it. There is another video on the rhetorical analysis essay in addition to this that may help if you want to spend time on that. Here's what you do when you get your speech or your essay. Here we go. You have 40 minutes. What do we do first? Look for your 3 RDs. So yes, you're reading, okay? You're reading, split your brain. You're reading for your RDs. Okay, I'm going in, you're going in. I have my 3: parallel structure, asyndeton, juxtaposition. I'm going to try to find those. If I can't, obviously, if you find another one first, then use it. Go with the first rhetorical device. Whatever it is, your 3 or not your 3, go with the first one you find. Don't stress about, oh my gosh, I need to find a better one, unless as you're reading, you naturally do find what you believe is a better one. My point to you is the first one, and at least write it down or highlight it if you can on the digital exam. So you're reading for the message, right? The main idea, the universal ideas, and you're also reading for the 3 rhetorical devices, and you're splitting your brain that way. When I say read for the message, when I read, I'm just looking for those universal ideas, right? They're either explicitly, that word is in the speech, or it is, I'm inferring from what the speaker is saying, or the main idea in each paragraph. So look for that main idea in each paragraph. Think about why the speaker would say this, right? I want you to read this up here first. This is the introduction. Always read these, right? So we need to know a eulogy, President Reagan. This is his memorial, right? And Margaret Thatcher, the prime minister of another country, is speaking about Ronald Reagan. Okay, so that you do need to know that because that informs the tone of this speech. So then you sort of have to train your brain. So if I see a sentence with a lot of commas and semicolons, it keeps going, and there's no and, but, or for, no conjunction, that's a syndeton. If I see a sentence with a lot of ands, so part of my brain is just looking at the words on the page so that I can digest. Is that a sentence with a lot of commas? Is that a sentence with a lot of ands? Is there a repetition of the same words? Is there a repetition of phrases for parallel structure? So again, you're reading for the meaning, the universal idea, and then also for how it looks on the page, the construction of the words within a sentence. And then that way you'll find your 3. You should find your 3 at different points of the speech if you can, so that you capture the different points. So this slide is helpful because it gives you steps and images, right? For first you scan for your 3 RDs. As soon as you have those, you're going to write out on the side on a piece of paper that you have, or somewhere on notes on your computer. But I think a piece of paper would be best. You're going to write out your 3 RDs. You're also going to write out your thesis at that point before doing any writing. And so you literally can use this, and this is also on your cheat sheet, or do something else. But you have to list the writer does something, RD 1, 2, 3, by what, persuading, speaking about, convincing, whatever verb you want. And the verbs are listed on your cheat sheet right here. Remember, we have our verbs here. And I would have just, 5 verbs written out somewhere where I can see them so that I can use those during the exam. And once we do that, we put it into the thesis. We make sure we have the message in the thesis. So you obviously have to finish this purple sentence by persuading, convincing, reeling in the audience to do what. So you have that active verb in there with an ing. And then you make your claims. So you're writing out a statement on a piece of paper for each separate paragraph before you start writing all 3. So writer employs RD, writer employs RD. Fine, begin the same. If you can't think of anything else, use that writer employs RD structure. Of course, you can vary that, and that would give you more points as long as you have the writer, the vivid verb, the RD mentioned in the topic sentence, that first sentence, with a universal idea. You have to have that universal idea in the first sentence of the paragraph connected to message. You write out 3 of those first before you begin writing the actual essay. Why? Because that keeps you focused and you have a roadmap. I would also, on the piece of paper, I would write out this right here. So this is your body paragraph. Okay. Go back to your rhetorical analysis cheat sheet, and you have in the body paragraphs up here, notes for stronger analysis. I would definitely have this, front and center. But this is the kind of stuff that I want you to read before the exam, okay? So have this in the time, like the weeks before the exam, you're reading over the analysis tips for extending. These questions right here in the pink box, I would have these written out either on a Post-it somewhere, because this is your body paragraph. The answers to this question is the body paragraph. You do have to have quotes, of course. You're just taking the 3 to 8 words, if you can, no more than 10 in each paragraph. So here are the questions. Take a picture of it, do whatever. This is your body paragraph. You're repeating this 3 different times. The rest of this, here we have our stronger analysis notes. This is just the activity that we're doing in class, the practice. Again, here's the body paragraphs right here. So I hope that this helps, not only this slideshow, but please have those 3 rhetorical devices that are more than repetition in your head and know what they do. Please begin to prepare your workspace for the exam. I know that sounds like it doesn't really mean anything, but it does. Think about where you're going to take the exam. Make sure there's extended Wi-Fi. If you're asking for a library private space, a private room, please reach out now and make sure that you have that room for the entire, like from 7:30 to 1. So please make sure that they're open in time. You will have to be prepared and ready to go at 7:30. The test starts at 8. And I'll give you more information on the digital logistics, what's going to happen. But in the meantime, put up the notes that you want, prepare your space, have paper on the side with a pen, and I will send you the cheat sheet. And that is it. So remember your positive affirmations. We are going to practice this test this week. So we're going to practice it in class Thursday. If you're taking MCAS, if you're a junior, you're going to have to set your clock and be honest and set it for 40 minutes and use the same practice that we're going to do and write that. Friday, I'm going to go over the ways to read your essay after you write it to, grade it or score it. And then next week we're starting immediately with the synthesis essay. So, and then the following we're going to work on argument essay, and then we'll be at the exam. So let me know if you have questions. Again, I know your work is good. I know you got this. I know you're going to score high. I know you know what you need to know, and that is important to remember.